meeting actually is just for us to review the events. We came in here for the services to brief Mr. President on the current situation on ground. You know that there have been a series of attacks, and the security forces have actually rose to the occasion. We came here to brief him for him to have a better understanding of what's going on. We know sometimes the interpretation, especially through the media, has not been too direct. We feel we should put the record straight, which we have done, and we're glad that Mr. President has continued to support the armed forces and other security agencies in the fight against insurgency. And our appeal to Nigerians is not to get tired, not to be discouraged, because sometimes when you hear those news, you think it is just what is happening, but it is not. It's far from that. The terrorists, the bandits are taking more casualties. Their commanders are being killed. We have lost a number of very, very courageous officers and men. Highly regrettable, but we want to assure Nigerians is the commitment we are putting on ground to ensure that Nigeria is safe and secured. New things, the president has promised more equipment for us to be able to protect the war, and we are sure of victory. And you know, war comes in and out, and because again, it's normal it's usual with the terrorists during the Ramadan period. For them, they feel when they die, they are going to heaven, so they are ready to commit any offense or to get killed because they feel they have reward to do. But like I said, we have adjusted our strategies. You can see in the past few days, we've taken over those locations, we've killed their commanders, we've taken over their assets. We'll continue to do more. And I assure you, Mr. President has approved so many things that are coming on our line, and we're working together as a team. You can see all members of the security forces are here to assure Nigerians and to assure Mr. President that we're on track and will succeed.
Let's bring in our analysts and guests, Dixon Osagie, MD, Debris Protection Services Limited, and security consultant. Mr. Osagie, good to see you. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
The other day, the president said, we will not surrender to terror. Today, the Minister of Defense, former CDS, is saying, look, they are recording significant casualty. Commanders of this terrorist organization and the Nigerian army or the Nigerian military is also taking in casualty. So it's a mixed bag of many things. But from where you sit, are we really winning this war against insurgency, and how?
Thank you, Geoffrey. It's so sad that Nigeria is systematically under invasion. I say under invasion because when you look at the four corners of our country, we are consistently under attack. I heard the Chief of Defense Staff, a brilliant general, and I agree with him that the military are hitting hard on these very criminal elements, even though the military has failed to adopt, a propaganda in which it would demoralize the fighters of these guys. We saw the videos that is going around the clock from these two criminal elements that invaded the 4 military bases in Borno State, and they even have a videographer who took his time to have a very nice shot, even more than some TV stations in Nigeria. But I'm saying this because we need to start seeing this incident as an intelligence failure or a criminal compromise, because there's no reason on earth where you have the military of a great country like Nigeria being, shamed by this criminal element. And sometimes I wonder, Geoffrey, how they, moved thousands of kilometers or hundreds of kilometers. Let me just say hundreds of kilometers. How they travel hundreds of kilometers, carry out an attack on our military bases, successfully destroy our armaments, then go back to their criminal enclave, and arrive safely. So that alone for me is a failure on intelligence, and that is why I think the Nigerian army or the Nigerian military should look intelligence as a very, very strong component in this counterterrorism, because insurgency is defeated by intelligence before it is defeated by firepower. If you have an effective intelligence in place, even before those guys advance to your location, you will lay an ambush on these guys and take them out. How do they migrate? How do they move around? And I tell you, Geoffrey, that they also have an effective intelligence network, the criminal elements. They have an effective intelligence network, because there's no strike or no attack can take place in any part of this world without, first of all, going for surveillance, gathering your information, checking the capability and capacity of the people on ground, looking at their strength, then send irreasonable criminal gangs to go and, attack the military bases. It's a no, no, no. And it's not acceptable. We can't be behaving as if we are playing a friendly match with these guys. We need to wipe them out once and for all. And I also advise, they've gone to meet the military, the president. I don't know what they're discussing with the president. The Nigerian Army needs aviation base as at now, very urgent. They need an aviation base and also multiple attack helicopters that they can use to chase this criminal element from the sky while the ground forces are operating. They are also using the attack helicopters against these guys, not necessarily calling on the Air Force at any given time. This criminal element does not have Air Force wings. While we have great officers and men in this country relying on Air Force wings, let's try and see how we can build our aviation base so that they'll stop shaming us globally the way they are doing. And also the Nigerian Army should also, the Command General said that they've killed a lot of commanders. Yes, let's see them. Show us their, show us the video. Show us the attack, the operational videos, so that it will motivate Nigerians that, hey, yes, the Nigerian military are doing well. Not this criminal element any given time, they'll go and attack, video the incident. The joker will now, edit the video, then they will show it out as if the Nigerian military is not doing anything. And I'll tell you, this is the truth. The Nigerian military are doing very, very well. Most of this incident is just like once in a while or once in a given time. And they, amplify it. These guys, Geoffrey, they rely on publicity. The media is their oxygen, and that's what they are relying on. So we still need to, support our military from the intelligence perspective. The military must synergize very closely with the DSS, because the DSS is one of the strongest intelligence network we have in Africa, and I think we should, give them a lot of equipment so that they will synergize with the Nigerian military. The NIA, Nigerian Intelligence Agency, also needs to come up and do something good to ensure that these terrorist guys don't carry out attacks without us knowing their plans, so that we'll be able to decimate them.
Well, Mr. Osaji, the media does try in its responsibility to balance national interest, national security interest with the right to know for the people. And so we balance it, in terms of what we see and what we put out just to protect the population. But you talked about the need for the armed forces. I'd like to refer to the January report where U.S. forces reportedly delivered critical military equipment to Nigeria to support the fight against insurgency. And not long afterwards, there were reports that, in fact, the U.S. had deployed some boots on ground to Nigeria, following which the armed forces clarified that this would not be involved in combat operations, but it's a military partnership for training. My question is it too soon to begin to demand the gains for this from this military partnership with the U.S. if we have gained support in terms of equipment from them and a supposed ongoing training partnership with the U.S. Armed Forces? What we're seeing daily is reports about kidnappings, about killings of people either in the Northeast or in the North Central, and it's moving further down to the Southwest, Mr. Osaji. Why aren't we seeing the benefits of this partnership?
Well, I don't know if the U.S. troops have decamped to APC because what we've seen going around, despite the threat within our country, is a lot of political leaders decamping and not even putting the Nigerian interests at heart. We are in a terrible situation. We are in a war situation. The numbers of soldiers that are being killed by these terrorists is war numbers. It's not even a conflict numbers. It's not even a crisis numbers. They are war numbers. The numbers of soldiers and officers that have been killed, generals, colonels, commanders, being killed by ragtag criminals. It's a war numbers, and this war numbers is a disturbing situation. We shouldn't be having more casualties by these criminal elements against our military formation, and that's where our force protection comes to play. The Nigerian military must start looking at effective force protection so that we'll be able to minimize the loss of officers and men in the battlefield. But in the area of the military, boot on the ground from the United States, I think perhaps they are still gathering intelligence, because it's not just for them to just come into Nigeria and start, attacking this criminal element. No, it doesn't work that way. First of all, they need to carry out hostile surveillance, checking the enemy's strength, checking their area of rendezvous, checking their, their routes, their movement routes, checking their forest zones, and every other intelligence network they need to gather, also looking at how they can be able to strike them. And I tell you, making a mistake, we think the military don't have the numbers. I agree, we don't have the effective numbers. But in a war situation like this, it was not all about numbers. We can see a country in the world like Israel, 9 million population, disturbing everywhere, every part of the East, and carrying out attack effectively and achieving their aim and objectives. Just 9 million population of the country. Here we have a country of over 250 million, perhaps, not able to nip this insecurity on the board in the past 13 years. I tell you, that's an absence of political will. And I strongly believe there are one or two criminal elements that are benefiting from this criminal gangsterism and ensuring that this war don't come to an end, because I see no reason why they are still residing in our territorial space when we fully have the Nigerian Army, Navy, and Air Force and other security starters and some group of criminal elements that are not even up to 1% of the Nigerian populace are disturbing our territorial space. So for me, I think the synergy between the Nigerian Army, Nigerian military, and the U.S. is a good one. So we have to be patient to see what they are planning, because, a situation like this must not, be discussed so that we'll be able to take out this criminal element by surprise. And I tell you, Bukola, for free, the way terrorists operate, if they try this movement in a country like the United States or other advanced country, it will be a journey of no return. You can't move in mass to go and attack the military and you go back safely. How? Yeah, you're passing through. Are you going to disappear? No. So for me, I think the military needs a strategic review of their tactical application in this counterinsurgency. They also need an effective technology that they'll be able to use to, decimate these guys. The video I watched from this terrorist group that released a few days ago, these terrorist guys even have night vision Google. They have night vision. I was surprised. I said, our soldiers don't even, some of our soldiers don't even operate with this Google night vision eyeglasses. So for me, I think we need a strategic review of our operational capability and our operational tactics, so that we'll be able to ensure that we encircle or envelop this criminal element from any of this territory they are, terrorizing our country and our people. The Nigerian Army has the capability to do this. The Nigerian Army can wipe out these guys with 6 months. Is it that they are being political about it? Is it that they are playing politics with it? What a mess. This is unacceptable. And also, to end with your question, I think we should start, motivating our officers and men. Those who are in action, show us our pictures. Let us see them. We saw how the President of the United States of America went to the Air Force base and wiped 7 American soldiers who were killed in action. That is what we call heroism. That is what we call motivations. Not when you kill 20, 30, 40 soldiers. Even the state governor does not even care about it. Let's start, naming those who died in action, and let's start, promoting them, and as well let the family knows that the Nigerian country stands by them. Not just allow them die like chicken. You take them to cemetery and just bury them up. No, it's not done that way.
We may have time to talk about remuneration, which is very. I know the government is trying to increase it, but it's not enough. When I hear how much some of these guys are paid, it's very worrying. I don't think any Nigerian soldier in the military should be earning anything less than 500,000. I don't think. That should be the least amount. Anybody, the lowest ranking officer of Nigeria should earn at least between 400,000 to 500,000, but he's very far from that. But let's talk about what Nigerians ask most of the time. We have BVN, we have NIN, we have all of these telecommunications services. In fact, if you insult the president or you say things like about government, the way the DSS and the other elements will be able to catch you and pick you up. The other day, we had the NICOMSAT lady here, satellite communications people, and she talked about the ability of those satellites to be able to do the things that they are meant to do. But where I'm going to with my question is, with all this technology we have, at least fair enough, why do we have the ease of mass abduction in our country? The terrorists move easily in their numbers. They kidnap people en masse easily. Why?
You ask me why. I would say it's lack of political will, because I already said that it's impossible in a global settings where you have people come and move thousands of Nigerians, and I don't even know where they're taking them to. If maybe they just come around, pick them up and disappear, because I think there is a political tone to this criminal activities going on in Nigeria. And some people are sabotaging the effort of the Nigerian military and also the Nigerian government. And also the Nigerian military should also look within. I strongly believe that there are also criminal elements or fifth columnists within the military, because I see no reason why most times when an order is given or an instruction is given from the command structure, most of these terrorist guys get to know about the military plans and also the military progresses. So for me, I think there are fifth columnists, one or two criminal elements within the force, and that's what we classify as enemy within. Nigeria is suffering from an existential threat, and that existential threat is internal threat. You know, we have what we call the internal threat, we have what we call the external threat, and inadvertent threat. The major threat within Nigeria is internal threat. So if you are suffering from internal threat, that means you need internal solution, not external solution. That is why we need to start fetching out the terrorist sponsors. Who are their sponsors? The Chief of Defense Staff already said that they've taken out all their commanders. Good demoralizing strategy. When you go after criminal commanders, what you are carrying out is demoralizing strategy and also demobilization strategy. Before they will get another commanders, it will take them time. But the problem here is, Geoffrey, we allow them to plan. We allow them to regroup. We allow them to plan. And we also allow them to execute their plan. This is an error from our government. This is an error from our security agency. That's why I already said that insurgency is defeated by intelligence before it is defeated by firepower. Your intelligence is a powerful tool. And that is why we must not play with any of our intelligence agency in this country. The government must invest billions or trillions of naira for us to get most of these intelligence gadgets to be able to look at the satellite imagery, how they move, and where they are and where they're going to. If we have that, it's a form of psychological deterrence, because this criminal will believe or strongly agree that the Nigerian government is monitoring them, and they will not be able to carry out their criminal engagement. But they strongly believe that we have failed in the area of intelligence, we have failed in the area of technology, and we have also failed in the area of personnel. That's why they are succeeding in their criminal enterprise. No deterrence measures in place. We must have effective deterrence measures in place. Yeah, Mr. Saji, let me quickly get this one in. You know, at the time of the appointment of the Minister of Defense, General Musa, there was a lot of there were high expectations and enthusiasm greeting his appointment because of his performance as CDS. And during his defense, he did promise that he was going to investigate the withdrawal of troops prior to the attack of and kidnap of the girls in Kebbi, I believe. And, we have heard this time and again characterizing stories of kidnapping even in other parts of the country, in Benue, where moments or hours before attack, we see, a team of garrison commanders, withdraw their troops just before attacks. But, it appears as if it's become business as usual a month after his appointment. Do you think, from where you stand, that fatigue may have set in after becoming familiar with the systemic and operational challenges in the ministry, i.e., the budgeting process and procurement for equipment, or there are deeper systemic issues with the establishment, following revelations that government knows where terrorists are and their locations? What are you fingering, as possible and plausible explanations for this seeming fatigue in the fight against insurgency? Well, I said it earlier on, so a few months ago, when General Mustafa was appointed as CDS. The truth is, General Mustafa is the finest guy for the job. He's the finest general for the job. But General Mustafa alone cannot single-handedly eliminate the existential threat bedeviling Nigeria. He needs his generals, he needs his officers, he needs his people, he needs the civil-military relationship. So that is why we need to start looking at security as an holistic issue, not just from our center of gravity. I agree, from the center of gravity, we are carrying out some strategic planning and also some strategic effort to ensure that we decimate this criminal element. That's not sufficient. What I'm saying, and I keep saying, is this: security is achievable. These guys that are messing up our military, messing up our army, they are not champions. And I repeat it, they are not champions. They are just opportunists. Because most times for a criminal or for a crime to occur, three factors are responsible. Opportunity. We need to start cutting off their criminal opportunity. These criminal guys, they are the motivated offenders. The Nigerian military or the Nigerian people are the assets they want to go for. But what they need opportunity. And each time they go for their attack, they always succeed. And most times the military thwarts the operation. And sometimes when I see the Nigerian military spokesperson come and says that the military has averted an attack. Don't tell us the military has averted an attack. tell us that the military has eliminated the criminal elements that wanted to attack XYZ base. Because for them to come or to try to attack and go back safely is a failure on military operations. It's a failure on police operation. And the Nigerian military government should start looking at bringing in the police to synergize with the military. This is not a battle for the military. Nowhere in the world the military can win counter-insurgency. Nowhere in the world the military can win insurgency. It has to deal with the police and people and an effective intelligence and technology in place. If we have effective intelligence and technological application in place, surveillance, satellite image that can monitor these guys, Bukola, I tell you, these guys will not come and be playing around in the Nigerian territorial space.
Mr. Dixon, thank you so much. Dixon Osaje is the MD, Debris Protection Services Limited, a security consultant. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. God bless Nigerian military.
Well, that's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time. And, of course, your company is a weekend edition. And we'll catch you again next week, God willing. Sunrise Daily is up next at the top of the hour. I'm Jeffrey Uzama.
Ensure that you rest this weekend. You need it. Thank you for watching. I'm Bukola Koka. Bye for now.